Welcome to episode 22 of the What Up Doe podcast. Today we speak to our very own Mike Sears, the mentor. Michael is also known as the mentor, the purposepreneur. He's in the business of helping others find their purpose in life while assisting them with living out their dreams. Mike is also an edutainer who loves to educate and entertain. Let's learn more about the author, the speaker, the coach, the spoken word artist, and the entrepreneur, Mike Sears. What up, Doe?
Appreciate y'all.
What up, Doe? Welcome to the What Up, Doe podcast.
What up, Doe?
Today we are here to welcome one of our friends, King Crusader, and a Detroiter, and just a family friend of the What Up Doe podcast. Welcome, Mike Sears.
What up, Doe?
What up, Doe?
Welcome home.
What it do? Yeah.
So yeah, Mike. So dude, I haven't seen you since high school. Probably
right.
when I graduated '91. I'm hoping you do remember me, but
yeah.
I remember because Donnie was talking when he told me he booked you for the podcast, and of course I saw you always was active on our alumni stuff, and you the vice president now, or the secretary? Which one?
I'm president now. Yeah.
The president. All right.
Yeah.
You wanted what was you before?
Newly. I was sergeant at arms before.
Okay. All right. But so me and Donnie just had a little conversation. I said, "Yeah, I remember Mike," and I was just trying to tell him what I remembered about you. I said, "I remember Mike. Mike was kind of quiet, but I remember as far as football, I said, Mike was fast as hell. He was fast, quick. So what's just fill us in on the blank. What's been going on, kind of in your life since high school? What?
Yeah, so many different things. I've obviously a lot of highs, a lot of lows, but more highs than lows, and it's been all good. Had an opportunity once graduating. Went to Ferris State University. Had an opportunity to get my undergrad degree there in music industry management. Upon leaving Ferris, shortly thereafter, I was able to get a master's degree from Full Sail University in entertainment business. So even while I was at King, music has always been a thing for me. Then then from music things start to evolve in other aspects of entertainment. Was able to get my hand or to get involved in theater. Have since been working on film stuff and TV projects, and so everything from live events to behind the scenes in the studio to being on stage. I've done a lot of things in terms of entertainment. Upon graduating from Ferris State, I was able to come back, and in addition to staying involved in entertainment, I had a chance to get involved with education as well. So I taught for almost about 10 years, no, a little more than about 10, 11 years. So I had an opportunity to be involved in the education process, which was something that I kind of decided I wanted to do while I was in college, and then had the opportunity just to give back, to young people. And, that's obviously why, by being a part of the Alumni Association, wanting to be able to continue to help young people as well as us, making sure we stay connected and stay unified, and just, doing what we can to help each other on this journey. So that's everything in a nutshell.
Right. I'm glad you had to catch us up. Like I said, I haven't seen you or her. I said, dang, I know Mike a little active on the alumni stuff, but I was like, I haven't talked to him, reached out. But that was kind of impressive. So like did you have a scholarship from football when you went to Ferris? Because you know how most of the people at King, most of the Crusader football players, everybody usually all you gotta do is kind of practice and try to play hard. And Ren somehow gonna make something happen with your talent.
Absolutely. There were some opportunities out there for me on the football route, and I just decided to go academic. And I did have which is crazy because I did really well high school, in terms of academically. Um, my first year at King, I had straight A's, and so I transferred into the MSAT program, and that's the program that I ended up graduating out of. But got to college, um, had an opportunity to walk on to play football, and literally that after that first card mark in that first semester, I had the lowest GPA I've ever had in my life, a 1.9, and that was by that .01 kept me off the football team, and that was pretty much the end of my football life, which I was salty about for a while, but it was all good. You know, like I said, I had other aspirations that I was able to pursue, and you know, has had opportunity to go back and coach. So you know, it's all good. And then yeah, I'm still in love, still something that I'm involved in however I can be in other respects. But yeah, so I ended up going to college for academics, and again had an opportunity. I negotiated my way into onto the team, and you know, no sooner than I made the team, I was off the team because of academics. But it was an adjustment socially. It was an adjustment in terms of understanding how college differs from high school, which they don't really they tell you, but they don't. And so I had to figure it out. And you know, thankfully enough, I did graduate, so I figured it out. And yeah, so that's how that story goes.
Yeah, you know, and I kind of agree with you on that because, like when I graduated from King, I ended up going to Adrian, and that first semester was like a hell of a transit because you're away from family. It ain't nobody there to wake you up. Ain't nobody there to call you. Ain't nobody there to make sure you go to class because they care less if you go to class. Just pay that money. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, man, I got a lot of freedom, and I think my first semester at Adrian was probably one of my lowest GPAs too. So I don't know. Like maybe it's a DPS deal, or maybe it's that it's a big transition though.
I think it's one of them things where if you haven't been exposed to what's required, because it wasn't that I couldn't perform academically. The classes wasn't hard. It was just the dealing with the social, dealing with the, like you said, the freedom, understanding. Like, you know, I had an 8 o'clock class. Well, I had 8 o'clock class in high school. What nobody told me is that I didn't have to take an 8 o'clock class in college. Like I didn't have to start school till noon if I wanted to, but nobody gave me the game and said, hey, you can make choices based upon you. If you're not a morning person, if you know even with certain teachers, like there was multiple teachers for one class. So, you know, as opposed to, you know, high school, 11th grade, you got everybody take the same teacher for math. Well, in college, it's like 10 teachers that teach the same math class. And so, you know, you can talk to, you know, upperclassmen or people that took the class before and be like, you might not want to take this person because they this, or you might want, you know what I'm saying? So you can basically take classes based upon your learning style or somebody that just, you know, you kind of gravitate more towards. But again, that first semester, nobody put me up on game. So I'm just doing what they tell me to do, trying to, you know, hopefully graduate in 4 years. And it was like, nah, you know, the teacher, he told me, he didn't say, he didn't discourage me like, hey, you're not going to be good in college. He was like, don't take no more 8 o'clock classes because you just don't come. And it's like, you don't have to take an 8 o'clock class. And and that was probably one of my better grades because I think I ended up with a C. I could have got an A, and I think that's what the teacher was going. He was getting at. He was like, if you'd have came to class, you'd have been good. But you was missing class, missing assignments. And I believe it was because you was trying to get up at 8 o'clock. So don't do that no more. And so, you know, that was probably some of the best advice I got after my first semester of college.
I got a question for you, Mike.
Yes, ma'am.
So I could tell, you know, I watched some of your videos and I see that you're a God-fearing man.
Yes, ma'am.
And
Absolutely.
I'd like to know, what is your why? Because I know we all have that why that gets us and drives us every day. And that, you know, gets us going. And when you ain't feeling good, you still get up. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
what's Mike Sears? I love your name, by the way. You got an
Yeah.
amazing name. So,
Appreciate that. Thank you.
yes.
Thank you. That's a good question. And honestly, I think the why changes
Yes.
depending because I constantly ask myself that all the time. Because the guy
Mm-hmm.
again, like you said, there has to be a driving force. But ultimately, aside from my family and wanting to represent them in the best lights possible, and even those that those family members that have sacrificed for me, like my father, who's
Mm-hmm.
not with us anymore, and uncles and
Yeah.
coaches. It's like they did so much to impart wisdom, spend time, give game. Is like, man, I don't ever want to be a disappointment and
Mm-hmm.
not fulfill all what they gave me, or take it for granted, or
That's right.
squander it. And
Yes. Yes.
so a lot of my why has to do with, again, best representing them and also doing what they did. And that's
Yeah.
giving back, making sure those that's coming behind me, my sons, those that I've had opportunity to coach and or teach or influence. It's like I always, and that's one of the reasons why I went into teaching. It was like if I can if I can help somebody not get a 1.9 their first semester in
I know
college,
that's right.
Right.
then how can I spit game? How can I share my experience and say, hey, make sure you do this, this, and this, or
That's true.
how can I just use all of the mistakes that I made to help somebody else
Right.
make better decisions and choices. So that's a huge part of my why. Just wanting to be there for other people and help other people because there's nothing that I've done and there's nothing that I'm doing that didn't happen without the help of somebody somewhere. Like there's
Mm-hmm.
my one of my things is no man is an island unto himself, and it's like there's nothing that I've done that I can say I take sole credit and responsibility
Right.
for. Like
Right.
somebody, there's been a village, there's been people,
Mm-hmm.
from friends to family, just loved ones that have imparted in me. So again, that's the long answer to
I
a
got
small
you.
question,
That's what
but
you need.
it's
Yeah.
really about helping other people. And so I'm a big advocate for doing what I can to just share and make sure others are well along.
Yeah, you're right. That's important though
Yeah.
to have that why. And I don't know if you've been watching my channel, but I'm moving
Hmm.
abroad. I'm going on a 2-year travel journey
Nice.
through Asia. And so I need that support from my family,
Yeah.
like my dog's gonna be here and my
Yeah.
kids and everybody,
Yeah.
So it's gonna be you need that why when you're going through them tough times. So that's why,
Right.
I'm asking you. But now I see that you do a lot. You got that ministry spirit, I can tell.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what do you do in terms of the ministry?
So I'm a minister at my church, and aside from having opportunity to get a word, ministry is a lot about serving. So
Yes.
you know, it's a lot of whether it's participating in food giveaways, whether it's volunteering time with the youth, it's all kinds of servitude. A lot
Mhm.
of serving, and that's really what ministry is. One of the things that I've always been taught is ministry means people, and so
Yeah.
again, my own personal avocation is trying to help people, and that's what true ministry is. It's not it's not so much what I have to say as much as it is what am I doing, what am I
Right.
showing people? And so for me, like you said, you see me doing certain things. Well, it's important for you to see me what I want to say is the same way all the time. Like you don't see me
Yes.
one way when I know you're looking at me. And
That's right.
then you
Right.
see another Mike Sears when I don't
Right.
think nobody looking. And so I try, again, I'm not perfect by any means, but I try to be the same guy. Whether you see me in the grocery store or in the church pew or in the pulpit, or if I'm talking to kids, I want to be that same guy. What I found out is it really take too much work to
Yes.
try to switch too much switch. Like I mean, you had to do some code
Yeah.
switching, right?
Yeah.
That's just a part of professional, being professional,
Yes.
understanding
Yes.
how to be, how to operate in different situations. But just for the sake of I'm trying to be something that I'm not. No, I just want to be me.
Yes.
I try to show up that way no matter where I'm at, no matter who it is, whether it's talking to that guy on the street or, talking to the president of a company. I still want to be that guy where it's like Mike is Mike.
Right. Mike is Mike.
I would hope they would both say the same thing and one not have a totally opposing story about who I am. So
you know what? You just reminded me of something. So I went to Israel before.
Nice.
I remember, when you know how they take their money shekels. So I was buying something in the market and they just have and I needed change. So they were like just pointing me to do it myself. And I'm like, what? Why you don't have no cash register and all that? And the guy looked at me. He said, don't you know God sees everything?
Oh, wow.
And that was so powerful to me.
Yeah,
and like you said, you can't be fake in front of other people because God see everything. It's like you can't lie to him. So what you gonna be fake for? That kind of changed my whole perspective. So I totally get it.
Yeah, that's real. And that's great. I see you've traveled and you're traveling again. And that's, going to King High School, being from the East Side. There's a lot of people they don't.
I was from the West Side though, but I love
it's cool. I ain't mad.
I'm East Side with you, Mike. I'm East Side with you.
I hear you, Rob.
That's my living on. I'm just Sherwood Forest. I know people don't think that's
no. That's
Detroit, it is.
Still, people don't. A lot of people just don't travel across 8 Mile much, or they don't get outside of the city lines, and so to get outside of the country. And I haven't been abroad. But that's still on my bucket list to travel more.
Well, you'll have a friend there, so whenever you want to come, I'll have an itinerary for 2 years of where I'll be.
Okay.
And so you know a lot of my friends and family they'll see me at different parts of this journey. Right. So they're gonna meet me in like Bali or like Hong Kong. And so it's kind of cool because I'll be able to spend individual time with my family. Whereas here, I really don't do that a lot. It's always in a group, like you at a party or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it'll be nice. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that sounds good. It sounds nice.
Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. What's up, Rob?
So, it's as usual. It's always great to run into some Crusaders.
Oh yeah,
that I know, and I remember Little Mike, but now we talking to Big Mike. We talking big grown, Mike. You know what I'm saying? But it's just so impressive to me to see your journey from where you came from, where you at, and to hear your stories. But so what's like one of your because I like to hear about your major, the stuff that you went to college for, and the entertainment stuff. So because I just heard of Mike Sears. I like Little Mike,
right?
And I'm like, damn. I said, but I just remember you just being like I told you.
Yeah.
I remember, how, come on, you was on the football team and we kind of got the little cliquish hookup.
Yeah.
I remember
y'all was really some jocks. Just say it. Y'all was some jocks. Y'all was some jocks. Say it.
No, I mean, I don't remember Mike being like cliquish, but I remember
Mike probably wasn't. I would get him, but you was.
No, I really wasn't cliquish. I was the church boy. I was the one that couldn't play on Friday night. But see, I don't know if you remember, but I was in MSAT too.
Okay, so, yeah.
But
everybody know you was in MSAT, Rob.
No, I think Mike might, because I didn't even. I forget Mike might have been in there. Mike was in there. I forget, But I just want to hear about like some of the projects that you done did, what you want to tell us. How did you get started? Because we on our podcast we deal with a lot. We do a lot of interviews with people that went to King,
entertainers,
and it seems like a lot of them is entertainment and comedians.
Comedy.
And then now you hitting us in the head with
Curtis Daniel.
I got a degree.
Curtis Daniel was on here too. Patrick. Yeah. He's a music guy. So I'm always interested. Music is a beautiful art. I draw, so any form of art, I love it. So what you been doing musically?
Yeah, so I started off really like I signed my first. I was at King and in the going into the 11th grade. I signed my first. It was an independent contract, but it was a recording contract. That was my first exposure to the
Wow.
entertainment industry. And
Okay.
the producer that signed us, one of the dope things that he did was, in one hand, he gave us a contract after it was signed, parents went over it and all that. But in the other hand, he gave me a book. And it was, it was the business of music. And
Mm.
basically, he was saying, look, learn the business. Don't just be an artist. Don't just be somebody who wanna, spit bars and do all the
Right.
stuff that artists do, but um learn the business. And so that was one of the things, again, in going to college, like the degree that I graduated with, they didn't have it when I actually first got there. And so
Mm.
a few years later, that degree program came, which is music industry management, and that's what I ended up graduating out of. So
Wow.
upon
Oh,
leaving
okay.
upon leaving college, again, that started kind of like the education journey as well. So I started teaching. I worked at another independent. So I had an opportunity to intern, which at what is now considered Universal. Like they had a distribution wing um, in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
It was so a lot of companies merged. Like it was
Mm-hmm.
like back in the '90s and the '80s, there were like a lot of major record labels, and like now there's only about two or three majors. Like BMI is one, and Universal is
Okay.
another.
Right.
And a lot of them are, there's still a lot of some independents, but like major companies. So Polygram was under that Universal. They ended up being up under that Universal wing, and so I had an opportunity to intern there. Did a lot of marketing was what my degree was in, so I did a lot on the marketing side. So pretty
Yeah.
much after graduating, I've done a lot, pretty much anything that you can think of in terms of live production, I've done in terms of a lot of behind the scenes. So a lot of
Okay.
major concerts. From sound is my primary talent, but
Oh,
setting up
that
lights,
is a talent.
building stages. Um,
Okay.
I've done some managing,
Yeah.
of artists. Currently, I work again more in film. So music, I've never lost the love for music. Still doing music. I've had an opportunity to act and do some traveling
Nice.
um theater. So um my wife is an actress.
Oh, nice.
So it's in the
Okay.
family. It's in the family. My son, he's graduated with a production degree from Full Sail University as
Wow,
well.
that's
So
beautiful.
it's entertainment is definitely in the family. So I've done a lot of the little things that has kind of built my resume and helped me
Mm-hmm.
learn a lot. And where I am now is, again, providing opportunities to teach a lot of the stuff that I've learned and provide
Good.
opportunities for other individuals. And I'm focused more on film and TV stuff. And so
Okay.
I'm currently working as like a project, not like, but as a project manager, which is, a person on the team for getting films done. And yeah, learning a lot there. And my aspirations, again, I'm working on creating some of my own films and some of my own projects and stuff like
Well,
that.
you know what? We might need to get together, Mike, because I'm gonna tell you, I love following is growing, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so we
yeah.
was thinking about doing like some comedy shows, and even when I
Yeah,
like travel, we're
yeah.
thinking about maybe doing like a What Up Doe podcast presents thing. And
That would be
so, I mean,
dope.
I know
No,
it's like a dream of ours now, but I
no,
mean,
that's
it's kind
that.
of cool. Three friends from high school,
Yeah,
and we kind of do this with our own time, our own money, whatever,
no,
and we making it work, just fitting in how we can.
no,
And I
that would
think
be
it's
great because
really a beautiful thing.
what up though is universal. Like you can't go nowhere and not say that and people not know where you're from.
Yes.
So
Right.
That was one of my questions,
yeah,
Mike. I said,
yeah.
when would you say what up, though? How does it feel? So
Oh
you
yeah,
didn't even went into
oh
that
yeah,
already.
oh
Say it
yeah,
then.
oh yeah. That's it's signature.
It is.
I remember when we started saying it.
Yes.
Back in the day, and so it's
Yes.
still it's still carried on to the day.
It
So.
was like, I think I remember that like in the early 80s. Like
hmm Yeah, yep. It was early '80s.
it
It
was
was
the early 80s.
early mid '80s, and then
Yeah.
I remember it got bigger when Martin came out.
Yeah.
But they said somebody said, I think it was Cole. I think Cole might have been the first one to say it.
Yeah.
And on the show. And so there you have it.
So that's right. I didn't even realize that. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Definitely some Detroit stuff, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely Detroit, man.
And so
what were some of your biggest influences, Mike, like growing up? Like, because I know from the D, we everywhere you live, you got different influences. So like, you know, like we love Motown music probably more than the average people. So what was your biggest influences?
Man, like I said, musically, it was I listened to. What's crazy is even though I did hip hop, I listened to a lot of it. A lot of it was the earlier hip hop stuff, and I've tried to really just stay engrafted in the changes and what's going on. What's crazy is so lyrically, people like Rakim and people that LL, they those that used to battle rap and spit bars and tell stories. But one of the significant things is when I was trying to come out, I appreciate it more now than probably then is, and I use appreciation loosely, but the influence that NWA had over the industry.
Say it now.
Like when you think about it, they only put out one album as the original members of NWA before Cube left.
Yeah.
And just from what they did alone prior to that, there was a lot more diversity in the genre. After that, everything, not everything, but the majority of where money and where industry turned was this whole gangster hip hop.
You're right, exactly.
And for years, that's all it like. There wasn't much conscious rap. There wasn't much, and that's not even what they called it. Like Cube called it reality raps. That was what he called it. But the industry termed it as, and I think that was intentionally done because what it did was it transformed the minds of a lot of consumers and just the industry period on what they wanted, how they wanted us to be represented.
Like Luke and all of them. So
Man, but
changed everything.
But I've always been. I played in prior to coming to King. I was in the band, and so I played the clarinet. I was a drum major in middle school. So I've always had my ear to music. So musicians, I've always listened to like bands and musicians. And of course the greats like Quincy Jones and some of those producers. Again, Dre was one of those top producers, Teddy Riley, just musically, and again, there's so much influence, but R&B was very heavily influence of mine. And then upon transitioning from high school to college, making that transition into getting saved and walking this walk with God, gospel music became my number one. And it wasn't, but I think at that time too, gospel music made a turn because I didn't listen to gospel music not so much because of the message. It was like it sounded whack. It sounded, and I just aged myself by using the word whack. I'm sorry for anybody listening. That's like, did he just say whack? I said it. But it was.
Hey, it's all right to show your age on this show. We do. It's all right to show your age on this show.
What up, though?
What up, though? But literally, when it changed, it became a lot more progressive. So again, from jazz to R&B to gospel, I've kind of availed myself to all types of genres of music. And then of course, TV had a lot of influence over our culture from the New York undercover shows to the Martins to the Bill Cosby show to Different World. Different World was one of the reasons why I really wanted to explore college because it looked like it was an experience.
So fun, didn't it? Oh my God.
Did. And I mean, and they dealt with some real issues. They dealt with stuff that was like, man, I really wanna see what this is about.
Experience that.
Yeah. So all those, because my parents, they didn't go to college.
And experience love and relationships. Like, I went to college, had my boyfriend. You kind of learn relationship. That's why you learn how to be in a relationship. Yep. When you practice, I got some practice. Not that much, honey, but I'm just saying.
No, I got it. I got what
know
you're saying. And in addition to that, though, it's like when you able to just leave home. Like, you talking about going to Israel, you talking about going to Asia soon. It's like when you see other cultures and you see other places, two things happen. One, you exposed to something different, but then you also see how things is not that different, that it's not that much different than what you already know. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
you see the similarity.
Sometimes you think stuff is just so foreign, and it is. It's a new place. People are different. They do have different customs, but then you find those likenesses, those things where you like, oh, well, you like what I like, or you feel the same way I feel about certain things, and you realize, man, we're a lot more alike than we are different. Like, we have our differences. Don't get me wrong. Differences are real, but it's like the differences shouldn't push us away from each other as much as they should pull us together, because we're much more alike than we are different.
So look, did you hear about the BET Awards where they gave the award for gospel to Glorilla?
Yeah.
And so thinking about what you just saying, I mean, I get it. She is like a secular artist, but in that, it's been a lot of secular artists. Like, remember when Anita Baker did the song with the Winans, and it's been a lot of that throughout the years.
Kanye put out a whole, Snoop, and so again, a lot of those awards and a lot of those things, when people vote, it's based on numbers, right? It's based on familiarity, popularity. And again, it can be controversial.
It was mad at Glorilla, though. I'm like, how you gonna be mad at Glorilla because she made a jam, though?
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's one of those things where, again, people gonna have their opinions. Me personally, it's like you shouldn't be doing it nobody should be doing it for the awards anyway, or the applause. Because one thing my wife said, if you in something that we both heard, if you live by the applause, you'll die by the booze. And it's like, if you're doing it for that, then it's really for the wrong. So it's like, I mean, for me, it's like, for people that are in their genre, they're doing what they're doing, and they take a moment to reflect, and they want to give something or put out something that's more positive, that's more spiritual. It's like, I don't feel like you should knock them for that.
Yeah,
I get it. Trust me, I am a minister. I get it. It's in a certain light. It's like, well, that ain't your whole lifestyle. Well, I don't think it's anybody's whole lifestyle. Like, we're all working.
That might bring some people to the Lord, though. You never know.
And sometimes it does. I mean, for me, when I was listening to the Winans, we was singing when the Winans did the collaboration with Guy, with Teddy Riley. Yeah, we was singing Winan songs
and praising
at practice, at football practice. But I wasn't a bit more thinking the way that I am now, but that seed was planted. There was definitely an influence. And so, again, I take those things with a grain of salt. I ain't mad. If it was a nice song, it was a nice song. If it got voted, it got voted. But it's like, again, I know personally, that's not why I'm pushing the music. It's not for the applause. It's not for the awards. It's not why I listen to it. It's a deeper thing than that. Again, those accolades, I'm not saying we should be dismissive, because who doesn't want awards and wants to be, appreciated? But it's like, hey, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It is what it is.
For sure. Hey, I'm gonna switch it up a little bit since you're from Detroit.
Yeah.
What's your favorite food spots? You got, I mean, I live in Northville, so everybody got their little hood spot, or what's a nice little spot that you and your wife can go to and get a nice meal, and I don't know if you drink or whatever. Where will be a nice spot? And it don't have to be in Detroit, but in the that you like. I know you probably don't want to give away your gems, but
no. I have to think about. Again, this is something that I think about, because it's certain places, it's a lot of Conies. I won't say a lot, but it's some that they do it right, and they get it right almost like every time.
For sure.
But it's like, again, it's certain places, like, it's a lot of Conies. I won't say a lot, but it's some that they do it right, and they get it right most, almost like every time. For sure.
Yeah.
But it's like, again, it's certain places, like, it's a lot of Conies. I won't say a lot, but it's some that they do it right, and they get it right most, almost like every time. Detroit Fish and is it Fish and right there on the lodge between 7 and 8 Mile. Detroit Fish and
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's a carry out place.
yeah.
Bust it.
Like,
You ain't lying. Because I went there before I got shrimp.
Yeah.
I got fried
Fish
shrimp,
and
and it was so good.
Yeah, my wife. It's a Detroit Fish and Shrimp.
Fish and shrimp.
I heard about it before I went, and then I went and was like, oh yeah, they be hitting. I mean it's a few, but that's one of them. I mean it's some that don't exist anymore. Like Miley's and Miley's was that spot. For fish and shrimp that ain't here no more.
Yeah. Yeah.
I went to is it Smash Burger?
Smash Burger. Yeah, I heard of them too.
Just Smash. Now that's a new and it's a black and these are black owned restaurants. Had nothing against those that are not black owned, but my wife and I seen it was a lot of different comments back and forth. But I went, tried it for myself. The customer service was on point. It was clean establishment. The food was good. But yeah, just Smash. They my wife had a turkey burger. I had a regular beef burger. It was good.
Where I went last week? My sister, she go to get her nails done in Detroit, and we usually meet up at and I get some carry out at Al Soul Food on Outer Drive in Southfield.
Okay.
And it was good. I got some oxtails and they was good, man. So I did a review on them. So if y'all need a little soul food carry out, and the oxtails wasn't even, it was $24. And that ain't bad for oxtails, because if you go to Motor City Soul Food, they like $39 for an oxtail dinner. So
how many oxtail they give you, man?
They gave me about 7.
Damn.
They weren't real big, but they was like that.
Yeah.
And they was being tender, falling off the bone. One number bones in the thing. And the meat was by itself. Man, I did a video. I'm gonna send you the video, bro, because I did it. I was eating it while I was doing the Keith Lee. I was eating it while I said
that's the only way to do it, right?
Car clean, because I'm OCD about my car. I said I can't be dripping no green juice.
It's been a minute since I had some oxtails. I definitely haven't had any out of restaurant.
Go there. Y'all should go there, Al. And then the macaroni and cheese is good too. And I had the greens.
Okay.
I had the macaroni and cheese and the greens. I showed everything in the video. It was good. And I had the peach cobbler. I was that day. But it was good.
And you posted this video. I don't
be watching my stuff. All my 100,000 subscribers, you the one that do the least work.
She be tripping, man. She be tripping.
They said I'm going when I'm in the D. Our girl friend to the show, T Barb. You know T Barb, Mike, the comedian.
Yeah.
She said, "Oh, I'm gonna have to go there," because she moved to LA. So she said, "I'm gonna have to go there next time I'm in the D." She be all in the comments. She real loyal though. So go to Al Soul Food now. Al, y'all gonna have to start paying me after this.
Al Soul Food. I'm gonna have to write it down. It's on Southfield.
It's on Outer Drive.
Southfield.
Oh, so you're familiar with it too, Mike?
Yeah, I used to stay right around. I know what you're talking about.
The Glory Supermarket is right next to
Glory. Right next to Glory Supermarket.
Oh.
Yeah. It was good. Okay. I was like, okay, Al. Whoever Al. Yes, they got some really good spots, and I'm glad, especially like Avenue of Fashion over there, that area too.
Yeah,
got a lot of nice restaurants. I want to try a vegan restaurant where I don't even know if I can't tell the difference. Like when I try some, they be having some mushrooms that taste just like chicken. I want them to fool me.
And not that you said Avenue is not the not where you talking about off Livernois, but it's an Avenue brunch spot. It's in Dearborn. Oh. Man, it's a small spot, but they stay on bump, and everything that I've had there was good.
Where was it? Where is it?
It's off Michigan Avenue. What's in it? It's on Michigan Avenue. It's downtown. It's downtown Dearborn.
And I know it's deli.
It's not, say it
call
again.
your wife. You know your wife don't know the name of it.
No,
Ask your wife.
Avenue Brunch House.
Avenue Brunch House. See, y'all give me some spots to hit. See?
And here's
giving all these, right, they gonna start paying us.
Right next door to the Avenue Brunch House, it's a Mediterranean place, Malik Kebab. They on bump too.
Okay.
Like I've never been a big Mediterranean eater, but in terms of freshness, seasoning, text,
it's cute too, and they got a 4.4 star.
Al Kebab.
Al Kebab. They got a 4.4 star because you know my husband, he look at that.
He
look at the Yelp, and if they got a low score, he'd be like, "Honey, I don't know, maybe we should pick something." He will obsess over that. So I had to look at the score, and it's high as 4.4 star. Avenue Brunch House. Okay.
Yeah.
You got to talk about food, man.
I know, right? But I come on now, you can't. Like with music, it's almost like you can't talk about the D without mentioning food, because we got some good food spots.
We got some good food. We got good people. Just our high school.
That's facts. Good people.
We got all the people that been on here. Look, Leonard Hassel.
Yeah.
We had Marquita on here. We had some really good people from our high school on here.
Yeah.
And Jeff and Nefertiti. And just our friends, everybody good people. Like we ain't got no creepy people that we.
And it's good to see people again, because after high school everybody changed,
right?
Because you grown now, and so you get to make this. You making choices for your life, and it's just different. You grow up with some people, you grow apart from some people, but it's good, like you said, just to be able to reach back, look back, and for us to get together and be like, hey, to reminisce, but also to say, hey, people doing good. And again, I'm the advocate of, when people ain't doing good, that's what we're here for. It's how can we help each other? Because
this how you can help us, Mike.
I got you. I said it right.
So we was talking about, me, Donnie, and Rob. We was talking about doing a class reunion. Well, all the King people, since you're the alumni, and we was gonna do it like Zoom. I think you can have up to 100 people on Zoom or something.
It depends on what package you get. I think one of them you can get up to like 300 people.
Yeah, I got the I got the cheapest package. We might be able to push the budget. I don't know, Rob, and my councilmen, we gotta see what they decide. But if we could probably up it for 1 month.
Yeah, there you go. That's all you need.
And then we'll go back to the regular. But we want to do like an online class reunion, so that way but we don't really know how to do it. So I was thinking that maybe we could do something like that. We could do that with the class, and then it'd be presented by the What Up Dope podcast. That'd be like our first event,
That'd be dope. Yeah, because then you can get people that, again, they don't live here anymore, but they can participate.
Yeah.
So whereas a face-to-face kind of reunion.
Derek could be there because he live out of state. A lot of people live out of state.
A lot of people
live out of state too.
Yeah.
So
that'd be dope.
That'd be nice. So that's what we're trying to do. So we might need your help because you good with sound and stuff. So
technology. Yeah, for sure. I definitely can help. Whatever is needed for that. That'd be dope.
I would like to do that. I don't know when would be a good time. I'm leaving at the end of September, so I'm thinking maybe we should do it something like August or something, maybe the end of August or something like that, where it's gonna be still hot outside, so you can have set up outside wherever your location is, and then we'll have each person maybe say something for 30 seconds or something.
Come up. You definitely want to come up with an agenda. So people, certain people, you have certain people speaking at certain times or doing whatever, and just have whatever, people shout, whatever.
Yeah,
but
and
some
then
kind of
use the chat a lot and say something, and you know what I'm saying. But I think it'll be nice because we really got some good people from our high school. A lot of people reached out to us because of the podcast, and we really didn't think that it was going. I ain't gonna say that we didn't think that it was gonna be a success or nothing. But we ain't think like a lot of people was gonna be expecting it. We figured, we could miss a couple of episodes.
And nobody would know.
And nobody would know. And then people start asking us, and this started being like a job. That's how I knew it was. I was like, I'm editing for real. I don't even really know how to edit like that. And I'm doing this stuff that I really didn't know how to do. And people are asking. So I'm like, okay, well, now it started. And then we went from like, we got some false advertisement too, because they had another What Up Though.
Yeah.
And then we got a lot of their followers, I think. That ain't our fault though.
Yeah.
You know it was some on the news with the What Up Though people, and they was saying, and they followed us that day. Remember, Rob, we had like we got like 1,000 followers. And when I was like, dang, they stayed with us though. So
yeah, there you go. I mean, you can't control what brought them over, but if they stand, then they must, be okay with what they like.
Yeah, so it's been a blessed journey. It's just good to catch up with our people. Is there anything that you're doing that you need support with, or anything like any charities that you need help with, or anything that you're doing now?
Absolutely. So I started a nonprofit organization called One Life Inc. 2020. So in the midst of the pandemic, and what it is an organization that's is set up to be able to. One of our primary focus is men, all ages, all age group. But so we service, we do after school program, summer programming. Start next year, we're planning a male community baby shower, basically where it's they started doing them now for women, and of course expected mothers. That's typically what baby showers are for. But the premise of this is, and again, one of our board members, came up with the idea because of something that she's seen. Is you have a lot of fathers that aren't involved with their children, or they have a lack of resources and they have a lack of support. And so the ideal is to be able to provide, a community where they can get the resources and support, so they don't feel ashamed, or so they don't feel like they're less than, and they can actually be an active participant in their child's life. And then we also have another program. So the first one I talked about with the kids is called Beat the Streets. I told you I went and I was doing some theater stuff. And so one of my former students actually went off to Hollywood. His first film was with it was Gran Torino with Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, I met Clint Eastwood at that. It was at next to my aunt's house, was the house that was in there.
That they used,
yeah. I was on the set. I got to meet Clint Eastwood.
Nice. And so he took his Hollywood experience, and he's still involved in different films and stuff, but he wrote a play off a book that his father had presented to him when he was in middle school and was getting in trouble. And when I first seen the play, this was 15 years ago, and we had a conversation. I wasn't a part of it at that time, but I said, man, this is something that I believe people will come see year after year. Like, you've seen Annie. You've seen The Lion King, but the story is so good. It's like, man, when it's come back in town, it's like, hey, I want to go see that again. And I felt like he had that kind of a story. And so 15 years later, that story, that play is still traveling. We've been to Atlanta, we've been to Chicago, we've been to North Carolina, and a lot of other places. And so out of that play was birthed different programming. And so the play gets the kids excited, and they feel good, and they see themselves in the story. But then we also have programming that helps keep them throughout the school year and throughout their life. And so the programming again is Beat the Streets. Then we have the baby shower for male program.
That's nice. I really like that.
Where there's also a what's it called? It's freezing for a cause. So when I was in college, we did an event. It was for the homeless, and we did this it's an outside event. And again, this is something that we're planning for next year as well. And it's for everybody to spend a day in February in the freezing cold outside, and everybody brings things like blankets. We would have care packets for people that's, they're doing this on a daily basis. We're experiencing it for one day, but
I know.
it gives people an
That's
opportunity.
powerful. That's
Yeah.
powerful.
Yeah. And again, I was in an organization there. So we're kind of replicating that here. The last program is called the Mentor. And again, it's a platform that allows, again, men to come together and, resources with a concert, with spoken word, with motivational speaking, different things, panels, stuff like that. So these are One Life Inc. These are some of the things that we're doing. And we'll be operating on the east side out of a new facility called Anchor Detroit, and we'll be doing that. And so these are my give back, my nonprofit organization, my service, the things that I'm doing for service. And I'm
That's good.
also doing speaking and doing after school program and coaching and different things like that to just to help us all be better, do better.
If you got anybody that is doing like video editing, we need somebody. So like
We
I'm
could
always trying
we
to get.
Listen, we definitely talk offline, and
Yeah,
whatever resources that I have, and even myself, whatever I can lend to help. I enjoy being on here. I enjoy the
yeah,
platform, and I think wherever you want this to go, I think it can happen. Even like
yes,
you talked about briefly, doing something live, or doing something where even it's traveling. Again, like I said, you can go to anywhere and say what up, though 313.
yeah,
People already know what it is,
yes,
and it's good energy, what I'm saying? It's good vibe. So it ain't like where's anything negative. And
yeah,
so
that's true.
I'm all for
So 313, thinking of 313,
it.
what you think about the race for mayor? See, I don't have anything to do with
Mm.
it. Now, when I used to live in
Right.
Detroit,
Yeah.
back when I lived, I think the last time I lived in Detroit, the mayor might have been Kwame or it might have
Wow.
been Dennis Archer. One
Okay.
of them two.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's been a while for me. But
yeah,
what you think? I was watching, me and Rob was talking about it, and
yeah.
I was watching it. One of my dear friends, just for not to be biased, is
Hmm.
Solomon Kinlock. I've been knowing
Yeah.
him since I was 5 years old, and we
Oh,
grew up
wow.
together. His sister's a very good friend of mine. So
Nice.
I'm just gonna say I might be a little biased, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard. It's a lot of good candidates.
So I had an opportunity to watch. It was probably the most recent mayor debate. They did it at Wayne State.
Yeah,
And I think it was the top four candidates. I think it's a total of eight. And they the top four. Um, like you said, there's some good candidates.
yeah.
I think they all had some really good things to say.
Mary
And
Sheffield.
yep, Mary Sheffield,
What's his
Pastor
name? James Craig. And that
yeah,
what's
James
that Jenkins lady?
Chantel,
She was
yep,
really good too. And then
yeah, yep,
Kenlock, I don't know the other ones.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm familiar with all of them. The one I know the least is Chantel Jenkins, but I know she was a part of the city council. And then she left shortly after she
With the
was
AARP or something like that.
yeah, she
Yeah.
left and went to another organization.
Yeah.
But honestly, without me saying how I feel about any one of the candidates, what was
Mhm.
intriguing to me was I feel like all of them had some really good things to say. And what what I and it's just me being hopeful. What would be great is if no matter who won, they all still kind of push forward or made efforts to push forward their ideals. Because
Yeah,
I
that's
feel like
good.
all the ideals was really good. And the reality is it's only gonna be one person elected. However,
Right.
does that mean the great ideal that you had about XYZ shouldn't still be in some way ingrained in the future of Detroit just because you're not, what I'm saying, the person at the helm? And I know a lot of times that's not how politics go. That's not how
Yeah.
people think. But I think in the best effort, the best move for Detroit, it's like, man, like Kenlock, your perspective, I can understand. I can see where you coming from. From Chantel, I may be pronouncing her name, but Miss Jenkins, she has some good things to say.
Yeah, they do.
Craig, he's different. But again, I think all of them had great input. I just always wonder what happens to these individuals when when they're no longer in the race, when
Right.
they're not running for anything. It's like, are you still serving? Can you still serve? In the case of Ken Lott, again, he's 27 years. He's been a pastor, so it's my assumption that he's still going to be serving in some capacity. Craig, he's been here and gone. Chantel Jenkins, she's still, so hopefully whoever wins, they'll still be involved in moving the city forward. I like how the city is moving forward. Again, I've seen it, when it was, and it's still rough, but I've seen it in different phases, and again, I like the change that's happening. I think it's good.
A lot of people say, well, they just fixing downtown, and they just. But you know what? You got to start somewhere, and I think that's an investment when a city invests in their downtown, because when you invest in your downtown first, then you'll see like a Chicago, and it'll start hitting, the different apartment buildings and stuff like that further in the city. But if you're gonna start somewhere, you got to start where you can bring revenue into the city and tourism, and
it takes for us people that's passionate. And again, we can't use the excuse that resources is not readily available, because sometimes you just got to go out and fight for it. You just got to go get it. Like, people ain't gonna give you what you feel like you should have. Sometimes you just got to go take it. You got to be willing to go. Go make it happen. But like Cass Corridor, it ain't the same. They didn't build condos and stuff over and what used to be. So
around all of this stuff, that it's still real life over there though, and that's the beauty of it. You see people riding their bikes. You see all races. People are riding their bikes down there. They got different breweries they didn't open. They got what's that on Second?
There's a lot of stuff.
Selden Standard, that restaurant is really nice, and they got a lot of nice pop-up shops and stuff.
A lot of stuff.
I think that it's headed in the right direction. Now, I was even like gonna ride the Q line. I'm like, I don't feel like it's, back in the day we used to be a little scared, right?
So the people mover, you talking about the people mover, right?
And Q line and the people mover, sure, all of it. At first, my mom used to be like, "Don't ride on that till it's running for a few years."
That's how we grew up. It's like, let somebody else be the test. once they figure out, they work out all the kinks, then we'll come back. We'll come back. But we the only city too, as far as sports teams. Like, we got all of our sports teams downtown now. The major sports teams: football, basketball, hockey, and baseball. And so it's kind of. I think it's dope. I think it's dope. I'm here for it. Again, I believe in, if you don't like the way something is going or what's happening, be the advocate for change instead of sitting back, talking about what you don't like. Again, nobody that's doing anything, stuff was just given to them. People, it's a lot of politics. People got to fight for what they want. Like I said, that's another thing too. Enough of us come together, we can change the neighborhood. Like, we ain't got to be waiting for somebody to do it. It's just, we gotta, if we want it bad enough, we can make it happen. And our parents, our grandparents, they were, they did a lot more in the neighborhood together.
Yeah, I like that when Solomon Kinlock, he got that knock on doors initiative. So he meet like a lot of people in a certain location, and they just walk the streets. And they ask real people what are the issues, and and talk to people. And I love that communication. And that's why I love the idea of the politician being on the camera and the one face to everything. But I love community service and actually be having boots on the ground and walking around talking to real people that's having real issues and seeing how we can resolve this. Because there's some people out there that got some good solutions, but they're not being heard.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. So that's beautiful. I love that. Anytime we can get together and come together, that's what's up. What you got over there, Rob?
I got another little tricky question for you, but it ain't super tricky or nothing like that. But and like I said, it's just the vast travels that you have as far as your life is concerned. If somebody else come to watch our video, what's one thing that you really want them to know about Mike Sears? The one thing that, like, if they don't take nothing else, you know what I'm saying, an athlete to the college graduate, one thing that, and I kind of know what you're going to kind of say because I already see your spirit. I already know what you're going to say.
Ready for it.
I'm telling you, you know what I'm saying? But you might need to get your whole composure before you go ahead and say it. But that one thing about you that you say, you know, you got to know this about.
Yeah. Man, honestly, I'm not running for anything at all. I promise you I'm not. But, you know, I'm for the people. You know, I'm for progress, and I'm all about purpose. Like, man, you know, 3 P's: people, progress, purpose. You know, how can we come together? How can we continue to move forward? And I believe what directs us all is purpose. And so if we took those 3, the one thing would be purpose. I'm a man of purpose. You know, I'm a man on a mission. And, you know, wherever I see an opportunity to be able to help, to assist, and it's not just helping other people. Sometimes I need help. You know, what I got to invest in myself. You know, I'm not I don't know so much that I can't learn nothing else. When I was teaching, I'll say this real short story. When I was teaching, I think it was my first year teaching, I had a 3rd grade student. He kind of shut me down because he had a different method of tying a tie that I was unfamiliar with. And when he showed me, it was like it's like boom, boom. I was like, okay, I can't always come in with my ideals of what I know, and no matter who you are, I can learn from a 3rd grader.
Yeah,
I can learn from a 5th grader. I can learn from a 5-year-old. So I'm always open to to learning and investing in myself, making sure I know. But that one thing, purpose. You know, Mike is a man of purpose.
That's good.
You dropped the mic on that one, Mike.
Mic drop.
Thank you for that, and thank you for coming on the podcast.
I appreciate y'all for having me, and definitely, you know, let's keep this going. Like I said, whatever I can do to help, you know, offline, you know, let's make it happen.
For sure.
Yeah. Hold on. I got one more thing before you go. Now, when is the picnic?
August 31st.
August 31st.
Yeah.
Well, it's the all year. What year you came out, Mike?
All class reunion. Yep.
You came out in 91 too, right?
I came out 93.
92. 93.
Yeah.
Oh, you a youngin.
Thank you. Yeah, 93. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, you ain't even 50 yet. You gonna be 50 this year, Mike?
This year, a month. In a month.
You're gonna have fun. You know, for my 50th birthday party, I had it was a 1930s theme party.
Oh wow.
Rob ain't make it. He was the only one that didn't make it. No. But it was really nice. It was at Highline Distillery downtown Plymouth.
Okay.
And if you ever want a nice place to go, what's cool about that, you could bring outside food in there.
Oh, okay.
And then they have drinks. It's a women-owned distillery. So that's, you know,
nice.
The cool thing about it. So that's a nice spot to go to. So
nice.
Just an idea for your birthday. You got anything planned?
I don't. Actually, on the day of my birthday, the family is having a reunion.
Okay.
They planned it on my birthday. I don't know.
That's nice. That's like a hell of a price. Like everybody come to your party.
Right. I'm making it about me.
Make it about you.
I know we here for the family, but since you had it,
and that's a 50th. That's gonna be special. That's gonna be enjoy because I'm telling you, I turned up on mine.
I understand. All
right. Well, you have a good one.
You too. Y'all be safe.
Okay.
Thanks for coming on, Mike. Appreciate you.